What is going on, guys? Jason Burke here, Styles Clash for Life, coming at you on YouTube, and today, finally, I've got some football focus. I know it's Wednesday. I was supposed to bring you guys the review of this game after I went to it on Sunday. I did not get to go. Woke up Saturday in the middle of the night with a violent illness, projectile vomit, full on, got very, very sick. So I've been quite sick for the last several days. It's starting to finally calm down, but not only did I not go to the game live, but I didn't even see the game until this morning. Woke up this morning after several days of sleeping straight through the entire day. Start feeling well enough today to watch the game. Then I came to realize that my stomach, intestinal distress came from the idea of our very porous defense, one of the worst defenses in the league this year, high paid as it is, playing against the hottest team in the NFL and potentially best offense in the NFL against the Colts. But something had to give, and something did. Every week in the NFL, the story and the narrative changes. And Pittsburgh was falling apart after two bad games, losing to a bad Bengals team and getting lit up on defense. The Packers putting up 35 on offense against our defense last week. And the Colts coming in 7-1 with Daniel Jones' career resurgence and Jonathan Taylor being red hot and the whole receiving corps spreading the ball around. It seemed like we were going to get stomped on, or at the very least be in an offensive shootout that we came up on the short end of the stick, just like against Cincinnati and Green Bay. That was not the case. Pittsburgh goes in here on Week 9 at home against the Colts. Probably underdogs even at home, but they come out and get a victory. The Colts start off this game leading, commanding pretty well. They only come out and get 7 points. They're up 7-0, but Pittsburgh gets some stops. Pittsburgh comes out, they go 3-and-out. The Colts then score. Pittsburgh goes 3-and-out again. It seems like the game is going to be over. And then the Colts have a punt bounce off their receiver and go to our guy, giving us a first and goal opportunity, which we squandered as a turnover on downs. And it seems like the Colts are going to just trounce us. They're using a lot of, our defense is still using a lot of soft zone. Alec Pierce starts getting a lot of outside plays on us. Pittman starts getting involved on the outside. They're picking us apart slowly with 10-yard chunk plays down the field. The Colts control the ball for 11 of the first 15 minutes. 15 of the first 19 minutes. It was a quarter and 4 minutes, and Pittsburgh only had those 3 drives with no points to show for it, including inside the Colts 10. We had no points to show, and it was like the Colts are dominating time and possession. They're holding the ball. They're getting chunk plays. They're just not scoring yet. They're going to eventually finish us off. And then all of a sudden in quarters 2 through the middle of the 4th, Pittsburgh just gets back in control, mainly by splash plays on defense. I talked earlier in the season about how Pittsburgh started hot because the defense made splash plays and was super involved with sacks and batted balls and interceptions and forced fumbles. And then we had not done that at all in the games we lost in the past couple of weeks. And all of a sudden, this defense had a fire under it like you wouldn't believe. This game was all set up for us to get demolished, and Pittsburgh comes out and makes a big-time statement. Now, consistency is going to be the key, and this one big win does not change our fate all of a sudden. It does not make us feel like we're back in the driver's seat, like we're one of the best teams in the league again. The Colts still did a lot of good things against us. We still have a lot of holes and things to work on, but it is nice to come in here at home, get a statement victory against a team that was supposed to beat us, beating a 7-1 team, holding their running game to what we did, being really good against their pass game until, fourth quarter garbage time. The Colts did wind up making this much more of a game than it actually was. Final score was Pittsburgh 27, Indianapolis 20. The game was really 27-10 until, early in the 4th, and then the Colts got a couple of garbage time drives. The Pittsburgh defense kind of laid off the gas, but I want to give this team a lot of credit. I don't want to belabor the game summary too much because I am still pretty sick, but I'll go over the stat line with you guys right now. The numbers, in spite of 27 points on offense, don't look that impressive. It was essentially just the defense causing turnovers and giving us shorter fields and letting us control the ball and control the field position of this game, which made a big difference. Aaron Rodgers, 25 of 35. Just 203 yards for 25 completions, not great, but 25 of 35, 203, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. The 1 touchdown was a nice zone sit down in the middle of the field for Pat Freiermuth, who catches the ball, turns around, reaches over the goal line, and scores. Good touchdown pass there, no interceptions. That was key. For us, we only had 1 turnover in this game. The Colts had 6. The Colts came into this game with just 4 turnovers for the entire season, and they had 6 total in this game. So they almost, 1.5 times what they've had for the entire year. And Daniel Jones only had three interceptions coming into the season. I believe he had 3 today by himself. So doubled his season total for the day as well. So Pittsburgh's defense got active. Running the ball, it does not look too impressive here. Jaylen Warren, 16 carries for just 31 yards, 1.9 yards per carry, but did have 2 touchdowns. He had 2 of our 3 touchdowns today on the ground. Rodgers with the one to Freiermuth through the air, and Warren gets the other 2 on the ground. But yeah, 1.9 yards per carry, nothing special. I think 8 yards today was the high rush for Jaylen Warren. Caleb Johnson got 2 nice touches, like a 4 or 5 yard run, then an 8-yard catch. Good to see him getting a little more involved. Kenneth Gainwell did get 2 nice catches in this game, but running the ball, we just couldn't find much. And I'll talk about why with the offensive line here in a second. Receiving, this was a really wide game. Like I said, no one stood out as being a superstar in this game. The leader and the only receiver over 50 yards for the game was Calvin Austin. 5 catches, 56 yards. Had a couple really nice catches. Took some big hits in this game and held on to a few nice balls. But a bunch of other guys getting involved. Darnell Washington, 4 catches for 43 yards. I think he had 6 targets in this game. This must be a career high in targets and catches for Darnell Washington. Mount Washington getting involved here. Had a goal line target that was knocked out of his hands. But yeah, 4 for 43. Rodgers was really trusting him on the outside. He lined up as the X receiver on the outside a couple of times. He was definitely a guy they're looking to more in big downs now and just pushing through guys and extending the ball. Targeted down there in the goal line a lot more. This is what I was calling for last year. I was calling for Russell Wilson to do this last year. It seems that Rodgers really trusts him more and more now as they run these big tight end sets. Pat Freiermuth, like I said, he's getting more targets now. He's got 3 touchdowns in the last 3 games. Good to see him getting involved in these last couple of weeks. DK Metcalf, a pretty alarming stat today. Just 2 catches for 6 yards. 2 for 6 for DK Metcalf, who's an elite receiver. But yeah, all around, the tight ends got super involved today. Austin with 5 catches, but the 4 tight ends, Washington 4 catches, Pat had 4 catches, Jonnu Smith had 3 catches, and then even Connor Hayward had a tush-push first down that for the second week in a row they've used that play, and also got an onside kick recovery for the hands team, and also got a special teams tackle as well. So all 4 tight ends being used in all different ways in this offense. I've liked that lineup a lot. The one thing in the lineup that has changed, unfortunately, is with the injury to Isaac Seumalo, and I think this affected a couple things today. Number 1, I gave a minus point on the offensive line to Broderick Jones today. He's the only offensive line player I gave a minus to, and that's because he allowed 2.5 sacks to Laiatu Latu. Laiatu Latu, the Colts' talented young end, came in and played really well, 2.5 sacks on Rodgers. That's partially on Rodgers. Rodgers held the ball a little bit, stepped up in those, could have gotten rid of the ball. You can put that on part of the receivers, part of Rodgers holding on. But the sacks came from one player, so I'm going to put the minus on Broderick here. That being said, it's because Seumalo got injured. Isaac Seumalo came in hurt, was expected not to play after not practicing much this week, played about half the game and then got hurt again. So Spencer Anderson came back into play in his spot, which means that Spencer Anderson, who's usually the pulling guard, he's kind of the extra player on the end of the line, the tackle eligible essentially, the guy that pulls around or lines up on the end with Washington and the other guy on the end of the line there usually. Broderick Jones, essentially. He kind of helps chip with Broderick Jones, blocks extra. Now with Seumalo being out, you take your most established guy, your veteran blocker, out of the lineup. You're putting Spencer Anderson in that spot and changing his role and taking him out of his best role. And you're also now not giving Broderick Jones any extra help to chip at the end of the line. So you're making all those spots weaker. So what does that do? That gives Rodgers a less clean pocket, makes him step up faster, it gets more sacks on him, and it hurts the run game. That's what happened today, both in the increased sacks for the Colts and for the 1.9 yards per carry for Warren. So it does change our offensive game plan a lot with Seumalo being out, so I hope that he gets healthy next week. One more thing at the wide receiver spot. Roman Wilson gets a fumble today. He gets 2 targets. The first one is a motion screen play, which is kind of off timing. It's a little behind him. It's going to go down as a drop, but it was kind of a bad throw by Rodgers. The timing was just off between the 2 of those guys. The other target was a catch on a screen play. He took it out in the 4th quarter trying to get a first down. Has the first down, tries to hurdle for a few extra yards. In the process of hurdling, is turning over and gets the ball punched out for a fumble. So 2 targets, just 1 catch and a fumble on that only catch of the game. The Steelers are looking for a reason not to use this guy, and Rodgers keeps talking about inconsistency with him, and that's something you cannot have. I understand you're fighting with your heart, you're showing toughness, you're trying to get extra yards, you're trying to secure the first down, but you've already got it. The clock's moving. Just stay in bounds and protect the ball. That's all you got to do. Again, he's been rising to the occasion with like 2 or 3 targets a game these last couple of weeks. This week he did the opposite. 2 targets, didn't make the one motion catch, fumbled the other catch. Not good. Not good for Roman. I'm a big fan of this guy, but they're looking for reasons not to use him and to use the tight ends and backs more, and this is a reason why. This hurts for Roman. Defensively, lots of good guys to point out. I'm going to go fast because I'm hurting here. Interceptions, we got 3 this week. Peyton Wilson got 1. Was a ball thrown right to him. Peyton Wilson looked like he was going to overrun the receiver or tight end on the inside. Came back and jumped the route. Got the nice interception. Good return, setting us up in the red zone. That went on for a touchdown. That gave us a big momentum swing. Peyton Wilson, really nice read, nice interception, nice return. Good stuff there. Another interception by Jack Sawyer, the first of the rookie's career, I believe, which was a batted ball by Peyton Wilson. Peyton Wilson bats the ball up in the air. Jack Sawyer, Johnny on the spot, catches the ball and falls forward. So nice young players making plays there. So Wilson not only gets a pick, but also gets a batted ball, leads to another pick. Big day for Peyton Wilson. Kudos to Jack Sawyer for his turnover. JPJ, Joey Porter Jr. gets a pick. It's rare for him. He gets a lot of batted balls and knockaways, but does not get a lot of picks. Got a really nice one in between 2 wide receivers in the fourth quarter to seal the game as Pittsburgh was up by, I think, 10 at that point. JPJ goes ahead and seals it, makes up for the Roman Wilson fumble. So JPJ makes some positive plays today as well. Sacks, we got 5 more this week. Nice to see that. Alex Highsmith gets 2. TJ Watt gets 1. Keanu Benton gets 1. JPJ gets 1. So JPJ not only getting an interception, but also a sack. So 2 big plays for that. Highsmith, big game out of him as well. TJ Watt also gets a batted ball in this game. Forced fumble. Let's call a few more things out. Again, lots of plays for this defense. TJ Watt gets a forced fumble and fumble recovery. That was all one big play from Watt. Watt comes in, gets the trifecta. The punch-out forced fumble, which also counts as a sack, and a fumble recovery. So sack, forced fumble, fumble recovery, all in one play. So Watt really only gets off the edge on one play, but he makes it count for 3 big stats there. Nice turnover by TJ Watt. Alex Highsmith gets a forced fumble, which is recovered by rookie Derek Harmon. Good to see Harmon getting involved. He's been a little too quiet for my liking these last couple of weeks. I haven't seen much out of him since he got hurt and came back. He's been too quiet, in my opinion, but gets a nice fumble recovery here. Again, Highsmith, big day. Forced fumble and 2 sacks. Both guys were getting off the edge quickly on this. If you notice, Watt and Highsmith had a really good feel for the snap count. If you watch the edges, every time they get around the edge and get good bend, they were really timing the snap count well, bending their bodies and getting around on the wide blitz. The wide blitz body bend was working for those 2 guys very well. A little bit as well for the 2 backup guys, but mainly especially on a few plays where it's not going to look like a big play, Watt and Highsmith got pressure. That doesn't go down as a stat, but it will go down as a quarterback hit and an incompletion forced. So those 2 guys really had big days today. Also, Brandon Eccles got the fumble recovery on special teams. Ball bounced off the Josh Downs' chest, and Eccles recovered, which was a nice play early on in the game. It seemed like on defense, one of the things that helped us, again, we still had holes on defense in this game. They decided to make 2 big moves at safety. Because Deshaun Elliott is now hurt for the year. He's out for the season. I think it was a knee, I believe. It's been a week or 2. I've been kind of out of the loop with my sickness and my house stuff. But Deshaun Elliott goes down for the year. So Pittsburgh makes 2 moves. Number 1, they take Jalen Ramsey at corner and move him permanently back to safety full-time. He is now playing in that Minka Fitzpatrick free safety role. And they trade for Kyle Duggar. The Steelers go out and get the Patriots longtime starting safety Kyle Duggar. They trade a 6th-round pick for Duggar and a 7th. So you get a late-round trade back for a veteran starter. Duggar's not the best or most consistent. He has been kind of inconsistent in the last couple of years. Made a few plays this year on the Patriots, but it's not like a home run hitter thing. But to trade a 6th for a 7th to get a starter whenever you get a guy that's hurt and you need a veteran to come in and make a change is pretty solid. So they now have Duggar and Ramsey playing at safety, and they have benched Juan Thornhill and Chuck Clark, which I think is a good positive move for us. Duggar on a short week comes in and plays pretty well. No special plays, but nothing bad, especially for a guy on a new team on a short week. That's really solid. Cornerback-wise, JPJ is such a, slash or flash player. He's such a, again, gets a sack and a pick this week, gets 3 really nice batted balls where he's in position. 1 is an overthrown deep shot ball. 2 are in the middle of the field where he flashes with his hands beautifully. And then he gets 2 bad holding calls where he holds the guy around the waist. And then he gets beat on a soft zone. He makes so many good plays. He's such a lanky, physical player that has his body in the right position so many times, knows when to flash those hands, knows when to use his length, but also then doesn't trust himself when he gets behind a play, not to catch up to the play, but to use that physicality to grab the guy's waist or the guy's jersey and get caught. So he's still making some dumb plays, but he's making so many good ones too. Darius Slay, I think, is a bad fit for us. I think the biggest thing we have to stop doing is running that soft zone. It beats us every time, even though we held Jonathan Taylor to 2.5 yards per carry, the best running back in the league this year. We held to 40-something yards. Excellent run defense today overall. Beautiful. We still allowed 215-yard receivers in this game. Both Alec Pierce and Michael Pittman had 115 yards apiece, and that's because they were sitting down in that soft zone, mainly to the outside, leaking to the outside and getting that 15 to 20-yard soft zone play out of bounds. We have to soften up or tighten up on that. Play more man. If you have guys like Ramsey, I think even honestly, if you wanted to experiment more and put Slay back at safety and move Ramsey back to corner, I think that's a better fit. I do like Ramsey better at safety than corner, but I think I'd like to try moving Slay to where Ramsey is and moving Ramsey to where Slay is. Let Ramsey play tight and play more man, and let Slay come in on the on the zone plays or on the safety over the top help. I want to see more physicality, more man, and more of our physical guys in their physical spots because Slay looks a bit old and slow. He's still got very good football instincts, and he's still a good pursuit tackler, but he's really struggling on speed and keeping up with guys and playing too soft. I don't like that. Special teams-wise, Chris Boswell 2 for 2. No surprise there. The Boz is the best. Corliss Waitman, 5 punts for 252 total yards, 50.4 yards per punt average, with 2 of those 5 punts inside the 20. Very good day for him as well. So Pittsburgh comes in a game they are considered by everyone to lose. They beat a 7-1 team. They get a home statement victory that is even better than it looks on paper at 27-20. They improved to 5-3. They needed this. The Bengals are still losing games, but they are improving with Joe Flacco at quarterback. And the Ravens just got Lamar Jackson back, and they won a big game last week, and they are looking like they are a much improved team now. The Ravens are coming. The Ravens are not that far behind. So Pittsburgh does need to keep pace because the Bengals are going to be more competitive now, and the Ravens are going to be on a run. So good to see Pittsburgh get a statement victory here at home, 5-3. There is no rest for the weary. Pittsburgh is going in this Sunday night in a Sunday night primetime game against the Chargers, who are really solid and have a lot of good players on offense. So it's going to be another dogfight. The defense can make splash plays, and that's what makes a difference. Let's see if these few moves make a difference. We still have a lot to work on, but once again, it feels like as long as this defense is getting pressure and getting turnovers, we can beat anybody. But if they're not, we are a team that's going to be giving up 35 points a week. So we need to keep making these splash plays. Pittsburgh goes to 5-3 and gets a big win. I wish I was healthy enough to be at that game. I would have loved to see that game live and all those turnovers. But right now I'm just trying to get better. And I know it's the season of change right now and everyone is getting this violent illness. So I wish you guys all to stay healthy and safe. Please take care of yourselves. Be as safe as you can. Be healthy. Go Steelers. I will hopefully be bringing you guys this Steelers review Sunday night, God willing, as long as I'm not on my deathbed again. Go Steelers.